a vocal minority have co-opted the death of a lady to push forward their agenda, which I think is quite sick. I'm confused. I am genuinely completely confused because, when I saw this Sarah Everard story, which I think it's, again, very, very sad, condolences to the family, and I saw people protesting and say, okay, men are horrible, let's go against men, coffee. It's like, my first initial thoughts was, oh, geez, so is there like a pandemic happening where there are many women who have been kidnapped and killed? There has to be, because if there is such a big deal made of it, there must be many cases of women being kidnapped and killed. But it's like, I live in England, and I'm pretty clear with general news that's happening. And I know that the big thing that's happening is knife crime. Knife crime is a serious situation, and those numbers are rising. But I don't think there is this thing of many women being kidnapped. So this Sarah Everard story, as horrible as it is an outlier and an anomaly. So my confusion is, how are you linking this with sexual harassment? How are you linking this with women now feeling unsafe because they could end up being killed? Because, see, whenever you talk about these situations, you have to deal with facts. I'm sorry, you have to deal with facts. If you come with emotion, we're not going to get anywhere. If you're up with emotion, we will not get anywhere if we're just emotional merchants. We've got to be factual merchants here. And the evidence doesn't state that there are a high number of women who are being killed. Who are being kidnapped and killed. That's not the case. If there's a pattern to something, and it's a regular occurrence, then that is where you say, oh no, we have to do this. Something has to be done about knife crime in London, because there is a pattern and this is happening numerous amounts of times. Hence why people are trying to talk to the youth groups and so forth, because it's happening a multitude of times. But this thing that's happening is, it's an outlier. So how do we now go from one lady who got kidnapped and killed to now men are evil, men are trash? And the whole thing of like, oh my gosh, male police officers dragging these women away, and that shows such bad optics. I'm like, wait, no, hold up. I don't care whether they're men, Kryptonians, or Martians. The police are given certain instructions. If too many people are gathered in an area, you have to remove them. You warn them, you tell them, but say, England is still in a pandemic. England have now gone through a second wave, which has pimp-slapped the economy in England. So the governments are very strict and clear in saying, bro, no mass gatherings. If you want to do this, then it has to be done in a COVID-safe way. Once you now break COVID protocol, you put a comment. So how you now turn this to defund the police? See, people have to understand that in life, you have to have a balance. Hence why I don't understand when you're extremely right-wing, or if you're extremely left-wing, that makes no sense. You have to have a balance between some values on the right or some values on the left, so you reach the right decision. Defunding the police is stupid. Now, you can try and reform them, work on them, try and make sure that they are better and so forth, but defund the police, that's psychotic. It's completely psychotic. And the reality is this the reality of this situation here, is a vocal minority have co-opted the death of a lady to push forward their agenda, which I think is quite sick. This is about someone who's lost their life, and let's get down to the bottom of it and find out what happened, okay? It's unfortunate what happened, really unfortunate, it's very sad, but this has nothing to do with sexual harassment. This has nothing to do with now women now, we now fear for our lives in the dark, but because this is one particular incident where we still need to know and uncover the story as to what happened. You know? But the sick thing now is, imagine if you're Sarah Everard's family and you're seeing that a group have just been waiting to use this as a catalyst to say, oh, let's trash all men, let's give men a 6 p.m. curfew, let's keep men in cages, men are... And this is where you have to now get real now. A vocal minority of white women don't speak for all women. They don't. Speak for yourselves. You, groups of particular white women, don't speak for all women, because not all women share your views. So when you speak, just say, no, you speak for yourselves and your views. Don't now say you now speak for all women in general, because that's just sick. So, as I said again, the past few days, I'm like, wait, what? What's happening here? Generally, I was confused. And the issue is, you say any of this stuff on Twitter or so forth, you'll just get hounded. You know? And there's now, somehow, we've created a scenario where you've gone from, okay, now let's investigate what happened to this lady, because, okay, it's a wild story, to there's now a commentary about sexual harassment and how women are being treated and how horrible men are. Yes, some men are horrible, not all men. Some men are rapists, not all men. Some men are sexual harassers and so forth, not all men. I'm sorry, you can't just paint one brush and say this is how all men are. Sorry, because when I think of these modern feminists, these sticking feminists, because see, for myself, it's like, most guys in the world want women to be treated well, because most guys in the world have a mother, they have a sister, they have an aunt, they may have female cousins, they may even have female friends. Most men have a close person that is female. So that's why I say sexism, it exists, but don't put sexism in the same category as racism. Because the thing about racism and homophobia is there are people out there who have no proximity to another race, or no proximity to somebody who may be homosexual. But most people have to deal with women or have dealt with women. And I'm sorry, how life moves forth, how it probably moves forth, is that whole biological thing, man. You know, you've got to biologically say what's up. So men and women have got to say what's up to move things forward. So I never understood that. But yeah, like, I mean, these feminist groups, man, you guys need to chill. It's just because I think you've stooped really low right now, because you're to use this to now say defund the police. Oh, okay. Are you now so when you're in trouble or you've been mugged, who are you gonna call? It ain't the Ghostbusters, bro. That's a movie. Okay, so how does this relate to defunding the police? Because again, yes, the police may have been a bit too aggressive or so forth. They were carrying out orders, and again, it's a pandemic, and they've been directed by the government that says, if you see large groups, you disperse that. You warn them, you tell them. If they don't listen to your warnings, you disperse it. You know, so like, the priority here is the health and safety during the biggest pandemic I think this is what the world has ever seen. Okay, I understand you want to attend the vigil and so forth, but if you haven't followed protocols, I'm sorry, people are going to say what's up. But the key thing is, how dare you co-opt the death of a lady to push forward your psychotic agenda of trying to trash on? Because I mean, these women, all I want to ask them is, because again, this is basically the thing. You don't speak for a woman. You are a vocal minority. Because a lot of women I know don't share the same views that you have. They do not. So, but for these particular women that I speak with, do you just, because the sickness, I think you just want a world where you just rule. And that's it. And what you find with a lot of these women are, either they don't know any men, or the men that they know have pretty much been feminized. So you either know feminized men, or you don't know any men. So therefore, you just live in this bubble where you're not actually interacting properly with the opposite sex, which then makes your position even more worse because you have to, as men and women, you've got to meet in the middle. Give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little. You just can't have everything your way because I'm sorry, in this world, it's men and women. It's not just women, it's not just men, it's men and women, man. So, yeah, don't co-opt someone's death to push forth your sick agenda because that's just sick.